Welcome everybody to a brand new video. Today I'm going to be titling this video 5 things that Call of Duty 2020 needs to be a good game. I quickly went over to my notepad, I wrote down 5 things that I personally believe Call of Duty 2020 needs to get right in order for it to be an enjoyable Call of Duty this year. I have arranged this list from least important to most important, 5 being the least important and number 1 being the most important. All of these things are very important in my opinion, but I am going to be prioritizing certain things. So without further ado, I'm not going to waste any more of your time with this intro. We're going to hop straight into the list. At the number 5 spot, I put down interesting weapons and kill streaks. Call of Duty generally has a pretty nice variety when it comes to weapons, as long as they don't lock them behind supply drops, which we will get to that. And generally speaking, kill streaks are pretty interesting in Call of Duty, I would say the majority of the time. However, there have been some misses. There have been some games where they recycle kill streaks, they recycle weapons, and to be fair, that is fine. Generally speaking, people like to see old weapons come back. However, there needs to be a little bit of a balance. You can't just have the game fully consist of remade, reused weapons. We would like to see some of the older weapons come back from older Call of Duties, but we would also like to see some new weapons. Whatever time period that this next game is going to be set in, it would be nice to see if they would experiment with different type of weapons. Try and use some prototype weapons that weren't necessarily used in the wars, or they weren't used very often, and try and implement those into the game. I would like to see the developers kind of come up with their own idea of how these weapons actually played, and that goes along for the kill streaks as well. Of course, we would like to see old kill streaks return, specifically the VSAT, or the Blackbird as people call it in Black Ops 1. I would love to see old kill streaks come back, but we also need a little bit of a balance. We need some new fun kill streaks to be implemented in this next Call of Duty, or else it's just going to feel like the game is just too recycled. Going along with interesting weapons and kill streaks, we are going to be transitioning into the number 4 spot, which is a satisfying progression system. Why do you think people loved Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and Call of Duty Black Ops 2 so much? It's because those games had one thing in common, and that one thing was a satisfying progression system, specifically Modern Warfare 2. I personally felt like Modern Warfare 2 had the best progression system in the entire franchise. Leveling up in that game was very satisfying. Unlocking new things for your class to use and have fun with was incredibly enjoyable in those games. I would also love to see pro perks make a return. There is something so satisfying about upgrading the current perks that you are using into something a lot better. It is satisfying. A satisfying progression system will keep people coming back to the game. It will make people feel like there is a reason to play rather than just hopping into lobbies and killing people and going for kill streaks. That satisfying progression system could also have prestige rewards, maybe have specific weapons locked behind a prestige wall. Once a player has prestiged enough, maybe they unlock a very cool variant of a weapon, or maybe they unlock a completely new weapon that not many people are going to see unless you have achieved that milestone. I would love to see all these different bits of the game unlockable through gameplay and through progression, and not through what I have put in the number 3 spot, which is supply drops. During this year's life cycle, Call of Duty Modern Warfare took a step in the right direction in leaving supply drops in the past. The only thing I'm worried about is that this might not last. I would hope that Activision doesn't go back on their word, and I hope that supply drops are just out of the franchise entirely. Supply drops do not add anything good to a game. A randomized system of unlocking not just cosmetic items, but especially game-changing weapons is not fun. Nobody enjoys that. If you are going to have supply drops in the game and you are going to have weapons in it, you should also have a way that players can unlock those weapons through gameplay. And I'm not talking about saving up supply drops to open them up in bulk, hoping that you get the weapon. I mean through a satisfying progression system, like I said in the 4th spot. Also, if you're going to have weapons in supply drops, they have to have a very generous drop rate, because if you're locking those weapons behind a 0.02% chance of obtaining them in a rare supply drop, that's not fun for anybody. Nobody enjoys that. In the number 2 spot, in my opinion, the second most important thing that this next Call of Duty needs to get right, and that is good maps. And this is similar to the number 5 spot on this list, interesting weapons and kill streaks. There needs to be a balance. Most people like remasters of maps, but where a game like Call of Duty Black Ops 4 went wrong is that the majority of the game was remastered. Nobody wants to buy the next installment of Call of Duty and feel like they have paid for the same game over again. There needs to be a great map variety. There need to be chaotic maps like there are in Call of Duty Modern Warfare. There needs to be some traditional 3-lane style maps put into the mix as well. And then to complement that, we need some new maps that are good and then some old maps that are good as well, remastered into the game. If they get this balance just right, you could appeal to many different types of players. Some people who enjoy the more chaotic style of map design from Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which I did initially like, but over time came to really hate because of all the different places you could get shot from. When I say that they should implement chaotic maps into the next Call of Duty, I'm not saying that they should just copy and paste what Modern Warfare did. I would like to see Modern Warfare 2019 style maps in the next Call of Duty, but maybe block off some different areas of the map, patch up some windows so that you can't get shot out of everywhere. Overall, if they get this balance right, this could be a fantastic Call of Duty. And finally, in the number 1 spot, and I'm sure that if you guys have watched my channel for long enough, you will know exactly what I placed in the number 1 spot. And that is skill-based matchmaking. Skill-based matchmaking, to me, as I said in previous videos, is a deal breaker. It makes me hate Call of Duty. You could get every other point on this list perfect, correct to a T, but if there is skill-based matchmaking in the game, it will ruin the experience for veteran players. Casual players don't give a crap if there's skill-based matchmaking in the game. They don't give a shit if they're getting slaughtered by better players, but it impacts the experience that veteran players like myself have. We do not enjoy skill-based matchmaking because it doesn't make us feel like we're getting better at the game. It makes us feel like we're getting punished for playing better. How do you expect people to get better at the game and unlock kill streaks and use those kill streaks and enjoy Call of Duty if those players are never able to obtain those things? Skill-based matchmaking, in my opinion, is so bad in Call of Duty that to some degree you could kind of fuck up every other point I have made on this list. But if there is no skill-based matchmaking in that Call of Duty title, it would still be a very good game. Now, of course, there is a limit to what I just said. You can't just shit out whatever product and not implement skill-based matchmaking and expect people to like it. However, you could have average maps, you could have supply drops with weapons in them, you could have an unsatisfying progression system, you could have boring weapons and kill streaks, but if there is no skill-based matchmaking in the game, people will still be able to have fun because they'll still be able to shit on other players. Every once in a while, of course, not every game. But again, it also goes the other way around. You could get everything on this list perfect, but if there is skill-based matchmaking in the game, for myself and many other players, that would ruin the experience and it would pretty much kill the game, which is sort of why I'm not overly excited for the next Call of Duty, because I'm almost 100% sure that skill-based matchmaking is going to be in the game and it's going to ruin the experience. But regardless, this is a list of the things that I think are necessary for the next Call of Duty to be an enjoyable game. That has been everything I've had to say. I'm going to wrap this video up here and keep it brief, nice and short. And with all that being said, I'm going to end this video off here. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much the end of the video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you smack the like button. If you want to stay up to date with my content, please be sure to subscribe. I'll have my last video in the corner. If you haven't checked that out already, definitely make sure to check it out. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.